I still remember the exact sound of my sister laughing. Not the happy kind. The careless kind that doesn't check who it lands on. It was my birthday. 23. Nothing special, just family, teacups clinking, the TV humming in the background. I was the quiet one, as usual. The sibling who stayed invisible. My sister, Aisha, had always been the opposite. Confident. Loud. Effortlessly admired. She stood up suddenly, holding a gift bag that looked wrong. Pink. Light. Tied with a ribbon that definitely wasn't meant for me. "Since you never try anything new," she said, smiling too sweetly, "I thought I'd help." Everyone looked at me. I laughed nervously. "What is it?" "Just wear it," she said. 5 minutes. For fun. I should have said no. That's the part that still bothers me. Inside the bag was a simple outfit. Not dramatic. Not mocking in her eyes. Just unexpected. Soft fabric. Clean lines. Something she would wear on a normal day. The room went quiet. "It's a joke," she added quickly. "Relax. A joke shouldn't make your chest feel tight. A joke shouldn't make your hands shake." But everyone was watching. Waiting to see how I'd react. So I stood up. My legs felt heavy, like they didn't belong to me. I went to my room, closed the door, and stared at the clothes laid out on my bed. I told myself this was nothing. Just fabric. Just 5 minutes. When I changed, I didn't look in the mirror at first. I focused on my breathing. In. Out. My heart was racing, but not only from embarrassment. There was something else. Something unfamiliar. When I finally looked up, I froze. Not because I looked ridiculous. Because I didn't. The mirror showed someone. Softer. Not weaker. Just quieter in a way that felt honest. The fabric rested against me like it had always known where to sit. My shoulders dropped without me realizing. For the first time in years, I wasn't tense. That scared me more than the joke ever could. I stepped back into the living room. The laughter came fast. Phones lifted. Someone whistled. My sister clapped. "See? Told you. Not bad, right?" I smiled because that's what I've always done. Turned discomfort into silence. But inside, something cracked open. That night, after everyone left, I lay awake replaying the moment. Not the laughter. Not the humiliation. The mirror. The calm. I hated my sister for putting me there. And I hated myself for not wanting to take it off. That was the night her jokes stopped being funny. And the night I started changing in ways I didn't yet understand. The house felt different the next morning. Not louder. Not awkward. Heavier. I woke up early, like my body was trying to escape before my mind caught up. The sun came in through the curtains, and for a moment, just a moment, I forgot what had happened. Then I saw the clothes folded on the chair. My sister had left them there. No note. No apology. Just proof. I didn't touch them. I showered, dressed like I always did, and went to work. But the whole day felt slightly out of focus, like I was watching myself from a step behind. Every reflection, office windows, phone screens, shiny doors, pulled my attention. I kept expecting to see that version of me again. And when I didn't, something felt missing. That terrified me. I told myself this was embarrassment, not curiosity. That my mind was just replaying a bad moment. But embarrassment doesn't make you feel calm. It doesn't make you feel aligned. That evening, my sister knocked on my door. "Hey," she said casually, leaning against the frame. "You okay?" "You went quiet." I shrugged. "You got your laugh." She frowned. "It was just a joke." "I know." But my voice sounded older than I felt. She hesitated, then said, "You didn't look upset yesterday." That was the problem. I hadn't. After she left, I sat on my bed for a long time. The room was quiet. No audience. No pressure. I stood up and picked up the clothes. My hands trembled, not from shame this time, but from choice. I changed slowly, deliberately, like I was crossing a line I couldn't uncross. When I looked in the mirror again, it wasn't shock I felt. It was recognition. My breathing slowed. My jaw unclenched. My thoughts, usually sharp and crowded, softened. I didn't feel like I was pretending. I felt like I was finally stopping. That's when the fear hit. If this felt right, what did that say about me? I sat on the floor and laughed quietly to myself, the kind of laugh you make when you realize your life might be more complicated than you planned. I thought of my sister's smile. The joke. The applause. She had wanted to expose me. Instead, she'd introduced me. I didn't know what to do with that yet. But I knew one thing, I wasn't angry anymore. Not because she was kind, but because I was waking up. And once you feel that kind of truth, even accidentally, you can't punish yourself back into sleep. I folded the clothes carefully and put them away, not hidden, not displayed. Just saved. My sister thought the moment was over. She had no idea it was only beginning. And she definitely didn't know how the joke would come back to her. Not cruelly. Honestly. Weeks passed. Nothing dramatic happened on the outside. No confrontations. No big speeches. I went to work, came home, ate dinner with my family, nodded through conversations. I played my role perfectly. But inside, everything was moving. Late at night, when the house was asleep, I'd sit in my room and think about that mirror. About how quiet my mind had felt. About how strange it was that one careless joke had revealed something I'd never allowed myself to ask. I didn't rush it. I didn't label it. I just listened. Sometimes I'd take the clothes out and sit with them on my lap, like proof that I hadn't imagined it. Other times, I'd wear them and stand by the window, watching the streetlights glow, feeling like I was meeting myself without noise or expectations. It wasn't about rebellion. It wasn't about attention. It was about honesty. One evening, my sister noticed. "You've changed," she said during dinner, squinting at me like she was trying to solve a puzzle. "You're calmer." I shrugged. Maybe I stopped fighting myself. She laughed. Deep. But there was something uneasy in her eyes. A few days later, she pushed again. "You know," she said loudly in front of our cousins, "we should do that birthday thing again. Everyone loved it." My stomach tightened. I looked up at her. Really looked. For the first time, I didn't see confidence. I saw control. She liked deciding who people were allowed to be. The room waited for my reaction. And for once, I didn't disappear. "Sure," I said calmly. "Anytime." Her smile froze. That night, she came to my room, annoyed. "Why would you say that?" "Because I meant it." "You're not embarrassed anymore." I met her eyes. "Are you?" She didn't answer. The truth was, the joke only worked when I was ashamed. The moment I stopped shrinking, it lost its power. And she felt that shift before anyone else did. A week later, there was a family gathering. Small. Casual. Safe enough. I dressed intentionally, not to shock, not to perform. Just to be present as myself. Clean lines. Neutral colors. Nothing loud. When I walked into the room, conversation slowed. No laughter this time. Just silence. My sister stared at me, her mouth slightly open. Not angry. Not amused. Unprepared. Mom was the first to speak. "Are you comfortable?" I nodded. "Yes." She studied me for a moment, then smiled softly. "Then sit. Eat before the food gets cold." Just like that. No drama. No lecture. The room breathed again. I felt something settle in my chest. Not pride, not victory. Relief. Later, my sister pulled me aside. "You planned this," she said quietly. "No," I replied. "You started it." I just stopped hiding. Her joke hadn't ruined me. It had forced me to choose. And I was choosing myself. She didn't know yet, but this was the moment the balance shifted. The moment her laughter lost its edge. Because my revenge wasn't loud. It was real. After that gathering, things didn't explode. They tightened. My sister became careful around me. Too careful. Her jokes stopped landing, so she stopped telling them. She watched me the way people watch something they don't understand yet, waiting for it to either fade or prove them wrong. I didn't change overnight. I still had doubts. Mornings where I stared at myself and wondered if I was making life harder for no reason. Nights where old fear tried to crawl back in. But something important had shifted. I was no longer reacting. I was choosing. One afternoon, my sister asked me to go with her to the market. Just the two of us. It felt like a test. I agreed. We walked side by side, the noise of traffic and vendors filling the air. She kept glancing at me, finally blurting out, "So, what is this?" I stopped walking. "This," I said calmly, "is me being honest." She crossed her arms. "Because of that joke?" "No," I replied. "Because of what I felt after it." She scoffed. "You're blaming me now." I shook my head. "I'm thanking you. But I'm also setting a boundary." That caught her off guard. "For years," I continued, "you decided who I was. The quiet brother. The boring one. The one who'd never surprise anyone. Your joke was supposed to remind me of that." She looked away. "But it didn't," I said. "It showed me what happens when I stop performing." We stood there in silence. People passed. Life kept moving. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she said finally. Her voice was lower than I'd ever heard it. "I know," I replied. "But intent doesn't erase impact." That sentence felt heavy. And freeing. We walked the rest of the way without talking. That night, she knocked on my door again, just like before, but different this time. "Do you hate me?" she asked. I thought about it. About the laughter. The fear. The mirror. "No," I said honestly. "But I won't shrink for you anymore." She nodded slowly, like she was mourning something. Maybe control. Maybe the version of me she thought she knew. From that day on, I noticed something unexpected. People didn't treat me worse. They treated me clearer. Some stepped back. Some leaned in. A few surprised me with quiet support. And some, like my sister, had to relearn how to see me without the safety of jokes. I wasn't louder. I wasn't trying to convince anyone. I was just present. And presence is powerful in a world that expects silence. What my sister never realized was that my revenge was never about embarrassing her. It was about living so honestly that her joke could never control me again. And that kind of freedom. It changes everything.